Howdy. Hope you're all doing great on this Sunday morning. I'm out here. It's still wet out and we are grounded, so to speak. Hopefully the old combine's ready to roll. Time will tell. I just thought I'd shout y'all out and say howdy and tell you a couple things that are on my mind today. I don't know if you're like me, you've tried to catch up on the latest news. It's kind of crazy, man. Like, you like to get it hot off the press, or it's old in a couple hours. Peg's coming over to pet me. What I was hearing some this morning was, oh my goodness, Jamie Dimon's coming out and he's telling us that gold's going to be worth $5,000 to $10,000, you know, pretty soon. Of course, they don't put a timeline on that. And then, of course, they're talking still about the Morgan Stanley new portfolio designs, going from the 60-40 to the 60-20-20, and some of them are saying, no, it's got to be 25, 25, 25, and 25. Well, according to whom? Because when the puppeteers start talking like that, it makes me wonder if it might not either A, be less, or be more diversified. So, I guess that all remains to be seen. I'm sorry, I can't read my writing very good. And these, you know, those guys are hooked in with the bullion banks. You've heard the reports that India is going to start taking silver from their people for loans and whatnot, which that's not, I mean, that's interesting, you know. Is it going to work like a pawn shop to where if you take your, you know, $1,000 face of dimes in for a loan, and you go in there 90 to 120 days later, are you going to get exactly your stuff back? That's a good question. And I don't know that America will want to do that. Another thought here is on the bullion bankers coming out and I'm sorry, I'm stuttering. I'm trying not to fall in a hole out here. Is the reason the bullion bankers are coming out and saying, oh my goodness, your gold's going to be higher, which will make your silver higher too, I would expect. But it makes me wonder if they know something that I don't. Do they know that it's going to go quite a bit higher? There's still a lot of talk about gold being revalued. Well, I think that day may be coming, because we could get our debt that the government created for us under control. I mean, I didn't tell our government to send 100 million over to Africa so they can teach chickens to sing and some of those things. I doubt if you did either. Maybe you did. If you did, that's cool. I'm just at the point anymore. I don't trust, unfortunately, I don't trust our government at all. When they say something, I'm compelled to do the exact opposite anymore. So there's my little thoughts on that. I do believe personally, and I could be wrong. I was wrong one other time. But I can see April, our metals prices being quite a bit higher than they are now. And, you know, when they're screaming about, oh my gosh, silver's held $48 to $50 here now for what, a couple weeks, you know, you've got to factor in inflation. Of course, we're being told that inflation's only at 3%. Yep, go tell these young families that are trying to get started, like, you know, house payments, car payments, bills, child care. Go tell them that. Because I think that's a bunch of hogwash. Let's see. Oh. And, you know, don't forget the real reason that our precious metals are going higher is because the dollar and all the currencies across the planet, they're losing value. It isn't just us. People all over the place, they're losing confidence in their governments. So, and then I've got another question. This is just a little question. I thought Fort Knox was going to get audited. Did I just dream that? I want Fort Knox to be audited. And I'd like to see some real stackers get to go in there and verify if there's gold there that's real. You know, send some of the bullion dealers in. SD Bullion, JM, APMEX, Pimbex, send them all in, you know, and let's find out. Are you guys listening to the whole story about the SNAP benefits? Like, what, we're on week 2 of no SNAP benefits. We're hearing about that. Okay, if I was a SNAP recipient, and praise the Lord, I'm not, but if I was, I would be spending every penny on my card buying food that would get me through for quite a while, and I could do it. You know, it's not rocket science. I didn't think. Maybe it is. And You know, when I was a kid, you know, I knew people that were on getting benefits and stuff, and nobody said a peep about it. But it was not a career goal. You know, is it just me? But families that are passing that cycle on to their kids, you know, to live on the government teat, what? I mean, it just seems not too smart or productive. And think how many young people are growing up thinking that's normal when they could go out and become doctors, nurses, you know, tech geeks, whatever. But it's like there's just no ambition anymore other than to live on the government teat. And, you know, I've paid in since I was 16 years old. And that was a couple years ago. So, I mean, and I'm sure many of you are the same way. If you're disabled or a single mom or dad trying to get back on your feet, that's cool. That's what it was put there for. But not a goal in life. And, like, why do we have to hear about it for 2 weeks? There's going to be all these riots at Walmart. And, oh my gosh, don't go to Walmart on November 3rd. Blah, 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 blah. Like, wow. That's where we're at. All these crazy distractions, it seems like. Isn't that right, Simone? Yeah, that's what I think. Just roll around in the dirt. It'll make me feel better. That's right, buddy. I don't know. I guess this isn't my truck. They're just borrowing my auger setup out here. But I don't know. I'm getting tired. Getting tired of our government lying to us. I had a great idea. You know, I think we ought to take all of Congress and investigate them. And if we find that they've done any dishonest stuff intentionally, they should be tried for treason. You know, until we get that mess, you know, Trump had it right about draining the alligator pond, so to speak. This isn't going to get fixed. But anyway, who knows, who in the classroom knows what Article 1, Section 10 is? Yep, that's right, in the back row with your hand up. It is. It's in our Constitution. It's how we can use gold and silver. Yes, we can use other trash. You know, we can. But this is what I'm asking. Which would you rather have? That or this? Which one? Really, pig? Yeah, you're blocking the whole show. Right here on this is post 1965. This is pre 1965. That's what we ought to still be using, in my opinion. Instead, we've got this. All these, you know? We've got plastic for everything. And I'm hearing they want to make it more convenient for you. So, you know, everything's going to be on your phone. Just a simple click away. What a view. Isn't that beautiful? Like, put everything on your phone, click, click, click. And then, when that gets too complicated, let's just stick a little chip in your hand. You know, there are some European countries that have already done that. I gotta pick my change up. Since, oh, pig, get out of here. My goodness. Since this is not my truck, what is it? What'd you find? Huh? Come and show me. Is there a raccoon out here? Probably. Raccoons like to eat for free. I planted some potatoes a year or so ago, and I put a bunch of that blood meal stuff in the hole because I thought it'd be real good for my potatoes. Well, so did the raccoons. They're like, heck yeah. She left us a party. And they dug them all up. That was it. So, I don't do that anymore. But yep, we've got a lot of critters out here. Husband and my daughter saw a bobcat the other day when they were going over to the field. And I don't have anything on me right now. I mean, I'm not going to take any critter out unless it was planning on bothering me, and most of them won't. Unless it's the rut season, and the deer can get pretty crazy. Right, Piggy? Yep. But, I don't know. I've just been thinking about some stuff, and, you know, why I really want to do my YouTube channel, and really the main reason is because I just feel so passionate about not getting our kids, our grandkids, our great-grandkids, posterity in general, hooked up in CBDCs, and worse, that they can't do anything about. Like some other countries that we all know about, that people lost their freedom. They can't speak freely. They can't do a whole lot of things without checking with daddy first, you know? So that's why I'm hoping that each one of you guys and ladies that are into stacking, keep stacking, spread the word. That's what I'm giving for Christmas this year. I mean, I have for the last several years, given silver. One of my sons, he kind of rolls his eyes like, really, Mom? But Maybe someday he'll figure it out. Try to educate other people around us. It just takes one person, one time, and spread the word what real money is. And we have got to avoid digital currency at all costs. And when you really think about it, like all these wars, it's always about the money. You know, the love of money is the root of all evil. That's true. And hello, Max. You need a bath, buddy. Come on. We've just got to be keeping our heads on a swivel. We've all got to stand up and say no. We all need to start going to, you know, the city council meetings and the commissioner meetings. It's time for each one of us to stand up and be counted. And make no mean no. Because that's where I'm at. I am done with the BS. Okay. I've had my little morning stroll. Thank you guys for going with me. Much appreciated. You guys watching my videos and giving me a like and commenting. I love to read your comments. I feel like I'm getting to where I know some of you almost. So thank you for that. Thank you for your support. Go watch CoinShop Chris's videos. He's always putting out some great information because he's boots on the ground at the coin shop. And I really appreciate his Market Watch reports too. So I'll tell you a little bit about Pumpkin before I go. Pumpkin is just, he's going. He came and got in bed with me last night for a couple hours just to snuggle up against me. And I told him again how much I loved him. And that's all I can say about that right now. But, you guys, I love you. Give your wife or your husband, boyfriend, girlfriend, kids, grandma, grandpa a hug. Tell them how much you love them and appreciate them. And always, always keep your head on a swivel. This is Annie, and I am out.